All right, let's talk. For the last couple of years, it's been an absolute AI gold rush, hasn't it? Well, now the dust is starting to settle, and it's time to get serious about what's next. We're going to look beyond the hype and actually build the support org chart for 2026, one that's smart, sustainable, and yes, still deeply human.
So, be honest, does this sound familiar? You went through all the chaos of 2024, maybe 2025. You invested heavily in AI, you ran a bunch of pilots, and they just didn't deliver. Maybe they even created some distrust with your employees. It kind of felt like we were all just throwing technology at the wall to see what stuck, without a real blueprint.
This quote from Alpa Shaw over at Frost and Sullivan just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly frames where we are now. The goal was never replacement, right? The real win is enhancement. It's about using this incredible technology to power deeper, more meaningful customer interactions. That's our North Star for this conversation. So, why did so many of those early AI pilots fall flat? Well, the tech wasn't the only problem. The real issue was that we were trying to bolt this revolutionary new engine onto an old, outdated structure that, frankly, was already broken. Let's talk about that legacy model, the pyramid.
For decades, this was it. This was the gold standard. A three-tiered system that worked kind of like a knowledge assembly line. You had Tier 1 generalists at the bottom, handling the flood of simple queries, filtering the tough stuff up to Tier 2 experts, and then the really gnarly problems went to Tier 3 engineers. It looks logical on paper, but in reality, it created some serious problems inside our own teams.
And this is where it gets really interesting because the structure itself creates the friction. It naturally leads to this us versus them feeling between the tiers. It creates these deep functional silos where teams just aren't talking to each other. And you know who feels that the most? The customer. For them, it's a fragmented, frustrating mess. And worst of all, it basically treats our Tier 1 agents as a human firewall, a role that is just fundamentally designed for burnout. Now, this isn't just a feelings and morale issue. It has a real, measurable cost. Get this, research from PwC found that all these inefficiencies, born directly from those silos, cost companies 350 hours per employee every single year. I mean, that's a staggering amount of lost productivity, and you can trace it right back to an outdated org chart.
Okay, so the pyramid is failing us. It's too slow, it's too fragmented, and it's way too costly. The answer isn't just to sprinkle some AI on top. The answer is to fundamentally restructure our teams into a completely new model, what we're calling the circular ecosystem.
And this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? We're moving away from that vertical, filtered pyramid and toward a circular model that has a shared AI utility right at its core. And here's the absolute crucial point. We are no longer scaling by just throwing more people at the problem, by headcount. We are now scaling by capability, with AI handling the volume, freeing up a specialized human perimeter to handle the complexity. So just how powerful is this AI core we're talking about? Well, it can reliably handle nearly 80% of all those repetitive, high-volume Level 1 queries. I'm talking password resets, order status checks, the stuff that used to completely exhaust your frontline agents. This move alone frees up an enormous amount of human brainpower for higher-value work. This new structure, this circular ecosystem, it enables a really powerful new way of working. We call it the Centaur model. Think about it. It's not human versus machine. It's a true partnership. Human plus AI, where each side gets to play to its own unique strengths. So let's be really clear about what we mean by this. In the Centaur model, the AI is your high-speed engine. It's built to process massive volumes of data and handle those repetitive tasks 24/7 without a break. But your humans are the specialized pilots. They're the ones who navigate the nuance, the ethical gray areas, and the big strategic decisions that the engine just can't handle on its own. So what does that AI engine do best? Well, it gives you 24/7 coverage for FAQs. It automates level 1 resolutions and data capture. It can search through thousands of documents in seconds. It can even summarize entire conversations during an escalation so no context ever gets lost. All the logic-based, high-volume tasks that are just perfect for automation. But then, where is that human pilot absolutely indispensable? It's in those moments of high-stakes emotion. It's in the complex gray area problems where the policies might conflict. It's in making those critical ethical judgments that code, by its very nature, just cannot compute. This is where human empathy and expertise create real, lasting value. And let's be clear, having a human in the loop is an imperative. It's not a choice. We need people for that difficult emotional de-escalation, for strategic relationship management with our biggest clients, and, maybe most critically, for ensuring ethical judgment and compliance with regulations like the EU AI Act. And remember, humans don't just solve problems. They're the ones who translate customer friction into real product innovation.
Okay, so we've got a new structure and a new philosophy. What does this actually look like on the ground? Let's start building the 2026 org chart by looking at the totally new roles and career paths that pop up in this ecosystem.
So 3 critical new roles really become the backbone of this partnership. First, you've got the AI operations manager, who's constantly auditing the AI's performance. Then, the knowledge curator, whose job is to feed the RAG pipeline, that's retrieval augmented generation pipeline, making sure the AI learns from perfect, clean data. And finally, the collaboration designer, who architects that seamless, frictionless handoff from bot to human. These roles are essential for keeping control and ensuring quality.
You know, this completely changes what career progression looks like. The old goal of just escaping the front lines by moving up the pyramid, that's gone. Instead, the new career paths are all about deepening your specialization, about mastering the art of leveraging tech to solve really complex problems. Success is now measured by your strategic impact, not just the number of tickets you close. So, why are we so confident that this Centaur model is the only way forward? Well, it's because the other options have already shown their weaknesses. The AI-only approach has no soul, and it shatters customer trust. And the human-only model? It's simply buckling under the pressure of 24/7 global demand. It just can't keep up. The benefits of this hybrid model are just undeniable. It lets you scale without burning out your best people. It delivers accuracy, but with that critical human context. You get cost efficiency while keeping customer sat high. And on top of all that, you get better ethical guardrails, and you can drive proactive innovation. It really is efficiency without sacrificing quality. And this really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. The winning strategy for the next decade is not replacement, it is empowerment. The companies that are going to thrive are the ones who figured out how to use code to make their people more strategic, more effective, and more powerful than they ever could have been alone. So I'll just leave you with this one final thought to take back to your teams. As you're planning for 2026 and beyond, you have to ask yourselves this one critical question. Is your strategy built around scaling by headcount, or are you building an organization that truly scales by capability? Because honestly, the answer is going to define your future.